everybody, and welcome to the Huddle. I'm Pat Paris. Jason Barr has the week off, but look who's kind of co-hosting with me this week. It's the head coach and general manager of your Tucson Sugar Skulls, Dixie Wooten. Dixie, thanks for taking time in a busy week. You're getting ready for the playoffs.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate for having me on, Pat. Yeah, it's nothing like it, man. You go through the regular season and you do your best to get to this point to try to win a championship. And we got an opportunity, with the first round game against Northern Arizona.
You come into this game having just defeated Bay Area. We're going to look at some stats here. You guys statistically, offensively, are just phenomenal. Second best as far as point production this year, just about 49 points per game. You got Mike Jones with the 35 rushing touchdowns. You got Daquan Neal with the 48 TD passes. You could make an argument, Dixie, that you've got two of the leading candidates for Indoor Football League MVP for 2022.
I feel like we do, Pat. When you look at it, we like with our offense, man, we're a threat anywhere. But with the year Daquan just put up and Mike Jones, like 35 touchdowns. We haven't had a 35 touchdown runner in this league, probably never. And then with Daquan, sharing the backfield with Mike Jones, he got 17 touchdowns, but he has 48 passing touchdowns as well. Those guys, to me, Pat, they're 1 and 2 in the MVP race.
Yeah, exactly right. You finished 9-7. So Tim Barkley says, I'm ready for Saturday. I think we're all ready for the playoffs. You finished 9-7, first winning record in the 3-year history of the Tucson Sugar Skulls. And probably most importantly, Dixie, you get that 3 seed. And so you'll go to Northern Arizona on Saturday to face the Wranglers. And I think it sets up really well for you, nicely for you, because with that game, you've got a team that you're familiar with, a team that you've already beaten once this year, and you can kind of wait and build towards a potential showdown anyway with the Arizona Rattlers and Kevin Guy.
Right, in the playoffs, Pat, is different. It's a different atmosphere. It's a different everything. So it's almost good to get the third seed, the second seed, because of the fact that you'll play against a team that got some little struggles here and there. So now, if we win that first round, we get to play the second round. We can have a home game too against Duke City if they win. But playing against Arizona now, we get to see how they play out football is on film. So it's always good to not to be able to go play the number 1 seed. Go down there, play the 2 seed, get a win against those guys, and then hopefully Duke City can win and we can have a home game in Tucson.
Dixie Wooten is our guest here on the Huddle, our streaming program every Tuesday on our KGUN 9 streaming platforms. Dixie, you've had experience. You've won United Bowl championship in this indoor football league, so you know what it takes. What do you impart on your players about what that next level of this game means and going into the postseason? Because many of your guys on the roster have not played in the postseason before.
Right. It's different, Pat. What I tell my guys from the get-go, like whatever you thought about the regular season, kick it out your mind right now. It's something totally different. You live on every play in the playoffs. You you can't win a game in the first quarter, but you can for sure lose it in the first quarter. So you got to hang your hat on every play. But at the end of the day, if you make a mistake, you got to forget that play and go to the next one. That's why even as a coach, like in the playoffs, I turn into a different coach. I come to more of a more quieter approach, but I'm writing down every little thing, every little detail so we can fix it, so we can end up winning the game in the fourth quarter. Because like I tell my guys, listen, you got to make sure every play you give everything to it. You got to make sure you mentally focus. You got to make sure you physically make plays, and that's the way you get out the playoff, win a playoff game.
What would it mean to win a championship here versus, you won one with the Iowa Barnstormers, but now you come here and you've got total control over this team. It's a young franchise, not like the Iowa Barnstormers had all that rich tradition and all that success. This is kind of you building it from the ground up in a lot of ways.
That's why it's super important to win one here. The Guy family gave me the rights to, hey, do it how you want, build a program, long as you make us proud. So, putting things together as a general manager and as a coach, recruiting guys, making sure everything run right, having Kathy Guy believe in me as a coach and a general manager. Like this would be the best thing in my life to win a championship here in Tucson, especially as a young organization.
We're looking at your win over Bay Area back on Saturday, and that was what locked you up in the 3 seed. And you had to win that because it turns out Duke City went to Northern Arizona and won, and so you really needed to win that game. We look at such great offensive talent that you've got, but part of your success here in this second half of the season, Dixie, is your defense has improved. I know it's not quite where you want it to be, but you're definitely playing better defensively in the second half of the season than you were in the first half.
Right. What happened, and like I say, the first part of the season, Pat, it was a little bit on me because I wanted to see how my guys can cover man to man. And teams came out and kind of exposed in the man. But, the thing about it is I had to find a way to mix it up here and there. So you see us running a lot more zone. Then we mix a little more man in it. So now we get the confused quarterbacks. And now my defensive line is playing excellent. You got Collins up front. You have TJ Winslow, and then you got Maurice Jackson. The crazy part about it is now we got a guy coming in this week for the playoffs that came in this week for the playoffs. His name is Roderick Henderson, and he played nose guard for the Tennessee Titans. So now we loading up to try to win this championship, because at the end of the day, defenses win championships.
Yeah, they certainly do. And we've got comments coming in, of course. Dixie, when you look at this matchup against Northern Arizona, we talked about it. You've beaten them once this year. They've beaten you twice. The 2 times that you lost to them, real low-scoring games, and I think that you have that opportunity to maybe turn things back around against the Wranglers, who have had an incredible second season. We have given them a lot of credit. They were not a good football team a year ago as an expansion team. They have completely turned it around.
Oh, big time, man. Coach Moss, since the last loss, he was my coach of the year from the get-go. The way that he's changed that program around has been huge. You can't miss it. They won like 2 games last year coming in. Now they're the second seed in the playoffs. Man, that's a big turnaround because the coach brought everything that they needed. But the thing about, Northern Arizona, they play the number 1 defense in the league, so they love those games like that. The thing about us, we was trying to push the tempo to the fact that we wanted to score more points. But in the playoffs, Pat, if you win 29 to 29 and a half, then it's a win. So we're going to play the game how it go. And whatever, if it take us high, we go high. If it take us to 15 points to win, we're going to do it.
7-6 wins just as well as 77-70. So
exactly.
Take it any way you want. Here's a comment from Tim Barkley. Says, I loved that uniform combo, and I think he's talking about that kind of that all yellow that you just had at Bay Area. What are you guys wearing this weekend?
So we're going with the uniforms that we beat teams in. So this week we beat Northern Arizona with the white helmets, black jerseys, white pants, and black socks. So that's what we're going with this week.
Yeah. I think they're having a red out anyway, so you can't really go with your red combo anyway. So let them have
kind of clash a little bit.
Yeah, let them have that. That's for sure. You and I were talking before we came on the air. The uniqueness of the indoor football league is that you play during the summer months. And in Tucson, that's a great thing because, first of all, it's hotter than heck outside.
Yes,
and definitely. You don't really want to be outside watching sporting events. So you get to come inside the Tucson arena. But you also kind of have the spotlight on you. There's not a lot going on in this town in the summer months. We've got the U of A waiting. We're done with baseball, softball, and basketball. We're waiting for football to come. So it's nice to be in a town that cares about sports, but you're kind of the prime target right now.
Absolutely, and that's a great thing. But what we're going to do next year, Pat, is we're going to make sure we hit our community super hard. So when it's time for our season, we want our community to be with us from day one all the way through the summer. So, so this year been great. Like the last game was phenomenal when it comes to the crowd. So that means people talking about the Sugar Skulls coming out. But now, Pat, we're finna hit the community 100 miles and running. We're going to be into the schools. We're going to be in the community. We're going to be at the Boys and Girls Clubs. We're going to be at the Little League games, basketball, no matter what. We're trying to put in programs to have 7-on-7 for the high schools, big man competitions. And we also trying to do a golf tournament as well. So people going to see us around. So when it's time for our season, they're going to know that we love our community. So our community going to love us back.
I love that about your commitment to the Tucson community, because I know there's a very loyal fan base that's already built in just 3 seasons here, and I think that fan base can grow quite a bit more. As you mentioned, the last 2 home games have been terrific. And here's a comment. Scott Toot says, "Coach will have the guys ready," and I think you will. And to host a playoff game will be the next goal, right? And maybe that'll happen in a week. It can still happen. The scenario is if Duke City can upset the Arizona Wranglers and you guys take care of business against the Wranglers, yes, next Saturday, a week from this Saturday, you guys would host. But to get that next level, you need to be one of those top 2 seeds. And I think that'll take it to a whole nother level, won't it?
Absolutely. That's what it's about. That was the goal for this year, but it didn't happen that way. But the thing about it is with a young organization and me being a part of a young organization, you understand what you need to be successful. And now, I took notes down every game, my cons and my pros, of course. So now I know, okay, to get to that next level, we have to do this, this, and this. And that's what it's about. I want my organization to have Kathy Guy raising the trophy up before I'm done in Tucson. And I want to be here for a long time. So, but I want her to raise it up while we're here. And I want her to raise it up at least 2 or 3 times because she deserves it. She put so much work in. And this year, this week, when we play Northern Arizona, it usually be a one day trip thing. The league said it, but Kathy stepped up and let me know that, hey, we're going down there on Friday, so we're going to go in our budget and get hotels and things like that, so these guys can be fresh because we have a chance to win a championship. So when you have ownership like that, Pat, you can't do nothing but be proud of this organization, and this organization gonna go through the roof, man, because of leadership like Kathy's got.
Yeah, well, that's a commitment to you guys too. It's got to make you feel good that you got an ownership that says, you need to stay overnight. It's a little too far of a trip, same day to get the job done. You need these guys to be fresh. Yeah, that's great. Tim says, did I see the league will expand next year? Dixie, I think the expansion we saw from last year to this year, the league really blew up. And yes, there's even more expansion to come. I think having been the league that won out over the Arena League, which you're familiar with, I'm familiar with, that's now no longer in existence. This IFL is becoming a real national league at this point.
Right. It's great. And then to answer the question, we do have new teams coming in. The thing about it, Pat, is we got the big time leadership up top with Todd, our commissioner. He came in, he stepped up and wanted to grow this league big time. And then, Kevin Guy, Kevin Guy has been a big ambassador of the IFL. So he's pushing the IFL and making the business grow. People see him as a great coach, but nobody understands how great of a businessman he is as well. He pushed the button and he gets stuff done, and it's growing this league huge, man. So, you got the Vegas came in this past year that did a phenomenal job on the field. Now we got a few more teams coming in, and they're trying to get more. So, and then the great part of what they're doing, Pat, is they're getting great ownership to these teams. They're not getting ownership that just want to go through the motion. They're getting great ownership that want to have commitment to this league for years. That's why the programs are pretty good. That's why the games are good. And that's why, the league is building big time.
Yeah, Todd Tryon is the new commissioner of the Indoor Football League. You mentioned Vegas, and that, of course, is where the championship game will be played this year. And I think that adds a lot. It makes it more legitimate, I think, when you have a plan, and that plan is that in Vegas you're going to have the championship every year. I think what a goal for you guys to shoot for is the championship game in Vegas.
Absolutely, that's the goal, big time. But just talking about the game in Vegas, what people don't realize, like when a team have a home game, you got to put so much money into it, to pay for it. So now, what Todd did, what Kevin did, and a lot of the owners did in the IFL is they went and got a national sponsor, and that's in Vegas, and they're taking care of the game. But the good part about it is, the first place the seed team that will host it, they usually host the game. Now they'll get a check out of it. So they're still, giving the team with the number one seed, whoever getting there as the high seed, the benefits of, okay, you had a great season. Mm-hmm. We're still going to give you a check, but without paying a lot of money to get here. Taking care of our travel. They're taking care of everything. So now, it takes off the team not spending a lot of money and putting it on a national sponsor. So that's huge. And also, you have a situation where you come down and you have a venue that's a venue that nobody play at. That's going to be in a championship game. So now you get the atmosphere, you get the feeling. Now you feel like basically an NFL organization.
Yeah, and that's terrific. That's the goal, getting there to play the championship game. Let's wrap this up, Dixie, by saying what has to go right for you guys and what do you have to avoid coming up on Saturday night at Northern Arizona?
We have to stop what they do best. We have to make sure defensively that we stop the running game and make them, be a passing team. Offensively, we got to make sure that we can run the ball, get Mike Jones going, and make sure because we know they're going to onside kick us. We know that for a fact. O'Keefe, he's good at things like that, but we prepare for it. We understand it. So we got to make sure we understand scoring with a short field. Because we're going to be 10 and in a few times, and we got to make sure when we're in there, we got to score. So, with those things happening, and also when we kick off, we got to make sure we get down there and make tackles and make them have a long field every drive.
Everybody healthy. I know Mike Jones sat out, but I think that was more of a precaution, right, for him getting ready.
Because we know you got to take your run game to the playoffs. So, yeah.
Yep. And Daquan Neal, finally, we're going to see him. Just the whole playbook will be there. I know that he's been you've been a little bit cautious with him the last few weeks.
Yeah, he almost lost it last week because he ran a touchdown. So usually the coach will be happy. I'm looking at him like, no more running touchdowns. You run out your touchdowns if you have to in the playoffs.
In the playoffs. Exactly right. One last comment, the final one there from Tim Barkley says, Skulls Nation will be in Prescott Valley. That's coming up on Saturday. Dixie, I can't wait to see you guys take the field. I know things are going to go well for you, and we appreciate you spending a little bit of time. Best of luck against those Wranglers coming up on Saturday night.
Hey, appreciate it, Pat, man. Appreciate everything you do, man. It's fun always talking to you, man. And it's, like I say, the excitement, man, that you bring to this organization. We love it, and I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much, Dixie. Can't wait for you to bring a win home, and maybe I'll be calling a game for you in a week.
Listen, the conference championship at home, oh, man. I know we'll have 6,000 there.
I think we would too, and I hope that happens. And if it doesn't happen this year, it'll happen next year. Absolutely. Dixie, thank you very much. Appreciate it.